Like, the cool girls would never have put themselves on the internet. We just want to apply mascara. Hi guys. Today is my first day of recording my podcast, so I thought I would film myself getting ready for it, video recording it. So I'm gonna do my makeup. I'm starting a podcast. We only just decided on the name last night. Anyway, it's gonna be like from the perspective of me. I was not the first Australian beauty YouTuber, but I was definitely an early adapter. My first YouTube videos were in 2009. Dancing videos and picture slideshows of my makeup. Actually on 2008, I had a dancing channel. YouTube opened in 2007. It was like a year after it opened that I started posting stuff. And you know, back then, we were the misfits. The cool girls would never have put themselves on the internet like that. Now, it's different. Everyone is on social media and it's a big business. So I don't know, I thought it would be cool to discuss anything and everything, beauty, social media, life, motherhood, from the perspective of a geriatric YouTuber. So I'm excited because my first episode, me and Lauren are gonna talk about like those early days. She was living in Perth, I was in Canberra and Bateman's Bay, and we had started getting paid from the US because that's where kind of things started to take off. And then Australia, there was kind of like a bidding war for me and Lauren to represent us when all the mags started like shutting down. There's so many stories to tell and I'm really excited to get into the nitty gritty of it with her. But yeah, definitely a bunch of episodes about the early days of YouTube, how it's changed, what it's like earning money. I definitely want to give you guys all the details, some of the beef that was had, how much money we earned, biggest faux pas, biggest regrets, lots and lots of goss. It was so long ago now that the statute of limitations, not the real statute of limitations, but it feels like just none of it actually really matters anymore, so I feel like we can talk about it. And yeah, I'm really pumped. Because when I started, I was, okay, so 2008, I would have been 18. Yes, I was teaching belly dancing then. It would have been after I left high school actually, so I must have already turned 18. It must have been 2009. And so things started to really pop off in like 2010 once I left makeup school and I started posting tutorials. And so I feel like a lot of us, we really grew up together. And yeah, I was 19 at the time, and now I'm a married mum of 2 and had a really interesting life. Like, I always reflect on how absolutely insanely lucky I am to have fallen into this. Because I was not academic. I'm from a really small town. When I lived there, we had 16,000 people there. I went to school with the same 50 people my whole life until year 9, and I went to Canberra. So odd that I've now like traveled the world, worked with the biggest brands, because it's all just comes from me being a little makeup nerd. I was a nerd, but not about intelligent topics. Did not do good at school. Turns out I have ADHD and that's why. God, now look, I can't even remember what I was talking about. Yeah, like I had no career goals. I was like, I have no skills. I'm not particularly good at anything. I just love makeup. I mean, I just thought maybe I'll be a makeup artist, but like Bateman's Bay has so few people, I doubt I would be able to do it full time. I was literally like, I think I'll just run my parents' motel for them if they'll let me, which is kind of what I was doing when my channel started to grow in 2011. And then, you know, I decided to move back to Canberra. And when I finally got a real job, I started kind of posting more seriously. It was an outlet because the job that I got was at a crematorium. I'm probably gonna go into this a bit more in the podcast, but I think I'm just gonna put a plain cream eyeshadow on, because like we are recording a little bit, but I think it's just snippets. And then it all really started to take off and I moved to Sydney, because at the time I was dating a guy, he just graduated law school and he wanted to go to Sydney, and I was like, that's good for me, I'll go. He was a lovely guy, but it didn't work out in the end. And thanks to him, you know, when I moved to Sydney, it all took off. 30M. Do I have to do singing exercises right now? Because I'm already stumbling over my words. La 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 la. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about like the early days, some of the things that I never spoke about because it was really weird, like the Wild West. You know, the big magazines in Australia were shutting down left, right, and center. And like I would get, you know, sometimes, I mean, around that early time, 300,000 views a video or more. I mean, oftentimes less as well. But in Australia, the readership of these magazines was like half of the views that I would even get in a video. And especially when it comes to like Lauren Curtis, she was getting millions. It was a really scary time for people that had traditional media jobs, and Lauren and I come waltzing in completely oblivious to anything because we're literally just out of our teenage years and not from the city, not from Sydney. no idea that the beauty budgets were no longer going to magazines. They were going to people like us. They were going to digital. And it was scary and sad time. And I remember going to events with Lauren and like feeling like no one was mean to us, but there was tension. Where is my eyeliner going? Why do I have this random lid here? And Loz and I, we'd made a pact to stick together. We were very overwhelmed and people were trying to take advantage of us. There's some crazy stories. Like some people were trying to, it was clear they were like trying to manufacture us into celebrities. And we were like, look, we just want to apply mascara, please. So I have some stories to tell and I'm excited to get into that with Loz. And then I'm also gonna do a Q&A episode today. I've asked you guys like questions on my Instagram and some of them are juicy. And I'm just gonna get into it because like I said, I feel like the statute of limitations has passed. So I don't think anyone would get too upset if I like said things. Some of it's funny, some of it's a bit sad and scary. But I don't think it's the death of me doing makeup tutorials or anything. I actually think it's kind of rejuvenate my channel, I hope, because it can be like less kind of tutorial content, review content, a little bit more like discussing things, because I feel like we're all in the same boat now, right? Like we're in our 30s, we got kids, maybe definitely less smoky. There's a lot less clubbing smoky eyes needed than back in the day. And so yeah, I think it'd be cool to like discuss things like, you know, I want to find out and talk to you guys like, when do you think it's appropriate for us to allow our kids to start to wear makeup? Because my daughter wants to play with makeup and I let her at home, but I want to reflect on like the age that I started wearing makeup. Was it appropriate? What about social media? I know how it affected me and I didn't get it till I was 18. What about now where kids are on it super early? I want to discuss that. Because personally, I don't think I'll be letting my kids have social media till they're 16. And I'm glad that these laws are coming. So I would love to discuss that on an episode. Maybe like the history of makeup. I want to interview some historians about like on like beauty standards in time or even in other cultures. I also wanted to do an episode on feminism, the ethics of what I do. I've always struggled. Am I promoting the idea that you have to wear makeup to be pretty? A lot of people would probably argue that I am. And even I probably would sometimes. Something I fully struggle with. I've been wanting to put this color on. It's called Behave. Behave. Yeah, so there's so many topics that, I don't know, I feel like it's not the place. I haven't done sit down and just talk videos in so long. I think I used to sort of do them back in the day about random topics, like reaction videos and stuff, but I was definitely always so scared of inciting kind of like opinions, doing too many opinionated things, because that's when people start to be mean. And back then I just couldn't handle it. Now I feel like I've developed a bit of a thick skin and I can hopefully handle it. We'll find out. But I think it should be a bit easier on a podcast. So I've joined this network called Kind Regards Network, and Megan Pistetto, if you like Aussie reality TV, she does the So Dramatic podcast, which is super popular. And I actually haven't even watched Maths, and I sometimes listen to the episodes just so that I feel like I know what is going on in that world, because it's super popular and people are often talking about it. So yeah, I really like it. And they have a bunch of other like women focused pods. And so I was really honored when they approached me to do this podcast. Originally, they wanted to call it the OGs and have me and hopefully Lauren host it. But I think they said they reached out to Lauren and like Lauren didn't write back. But Lauren also already had her or has her own podcast. I think it's kind of on hiatus right now, the Mental Makeover podcast. So I was sort of like, if she wants to do it, great. But if not, I kind of wouldn't mind like having my own one as well. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited. And I'm so excited that Lauren said she'd be on it for the first guest episode. Sucks we can't do it in person, but oh my goodness, so much has changed. You know, I went to America, collaborated with brands, married, got 2 little gremlins. What about you guys? What has changed for you guys? Any of you guys mums? Dads even? The street that my hotel is on is one of the main streets, and right now it's like everyone's going to work, so it's super noisy. I know people hate it when people like apologize for the noise in the background of their videos, but I feel like I really do have to say sorry. Ooh, I also want to talk about social media as an industry, and like I have some friends that have been on the behind the scenes of working with social media influencers and digital media, and I want to interview them on like the crossover from traditional to digital, and also like social media creators and how that space has changed, because it feels like it's almost circling back. A lot of the most popular beauty creators are like, they're literal models, they have full-on production teams, and they're making super high production value content. And you know, I want to break it down, like, is that kind of content actually converting for brands? Because I feel like most people would kind of trust more of a girl next door kind of review thing. But then again, when Hailey Bieber mentioned something, I'm like, do I need that? So it's probably 2 kinds of influencing. But yeah, I'd love to hear from like marketing professional about it. Who knows, maybe some of you out there, do you have anything that would be cool to talk about? Feel free to write in. Dior Backstage, I don't think they have this palette anymore, but it sucks that they got rid of it. And I think they might actually, potentially, be fully scaling back the Backstage line, just based on a conversation that I overheard at an event. I'm not exactly sure, but that would be devastating. But I think they are going to be discontinuing a few more of the products, which sucks because Backstage is so good. Holy shit, could that street be any louder? Come on, man. All right, just nude lips. So if you have any ideas for the pod, feel free to like put them in the comments. Topics you'd like me to cover. I'll probably be doing an episode a week. That's probably all I need, right? I do want a bit of glow. Forgot mascara. What the heck? I think this mascara's on its way out, so I'm trying to just use it up just for my lower lashes. I'm definitely nervous, like I've literally hardly slept the past few weeks. Going over like things I want to say, that I've kind of been the kind of person to keep my mouth shut on so many topics. And I just feel like I want to just unleash. I feel like it's all been bubbling up under the surface and I'm ready to get my voice back again. Oh, I also want to do an episode on the guidelines that Australia now has about discussing, you know, plastic surgery, filler, and all those sorts of things, and discuss kind of like what that means for consumers, for influencers. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like, I just want to break it down. And I have a few bombs to drop. I'm nervous about that one, actually. Yeah, I think I'm finished with my makeup. So wait, I'm not finished with my makeup. I lied. But then I'm done. And then Seba and I are going to drive to the studio. I'm going to sit in the car and go over my notes. Are you out there, Seba? Sometimes Seba, like if I'm filming, he just waits outside like a little puppy dog, not being allowed to come inside. But yeah, you can come in. Let me check. Oh, that scared me. It's just the door shutting after I shut it. Yeah, to be honest, this podcast is probably going to be a little bit more from the perspective of the Australian industry and, you know, things. But I think that you'll definitely enjoy it even if you're from another country. And I will also be talking about product recommendations and makeup in general as well, but certainly less of a focus. Obviously tutorials and stuff are a visual thing that will remain on my IG and TikTok, and even here occasionally maybe. Is that even? Tell me in the comments, days after the fact. That'll help. Wow, my skin looks really good lately. You know, I went on the Morello, the IUD. I was so scared it was gonna mess me up. Mostly emotionally I was scared because I kind of went on it mostly for, obviously, to prevent pregnancy, but as well to, hopefully I wanted it to treat my PMDD. And I actually think it's helping so far because everyone's so different, right? Some people it majorly messes up, and then some people it can help. I think, fingers crossed. I mean, it's only like 3 months in, but so far. How cute's my brush roll? Aesthetica. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's what's happening over here, guys, in my world. I don't actually know if it's gonna be called the YouTube, or YouTubers, or I still have to decide that, honestly. Today's our first filming day, but I think it might be called the YouTube. I was actually thinking like the beauty blueprint, but a lot of people thought that blueprint was a bit too like architectural. They really liked the idea of calling it the OGs. I just think it's so cringe if I call myself an OG. Also, OG stands for original gangster. Like a gangster is not really like a positive connotation, like, you know. And also like calling myself an original gangster, like, oh my god, that's cringe. I would never call myself that. So I was like, if other people want to call me that, great, but I would never. Like, yes, I was an early adopter, especially since I was certainly not the biggest or the best or anything like that. Don't want to call myself an OG in the name, at least, of the pod. All right, I need to pack because I gotta go and I have so much like of my notes to read. And one thing I'm nervous about is I am so bad, and some of the reason that I like stopped doing long form content on YouTube is like, it's completely fine and easy for me to do a makeup tutorial or something on YouTube because it's chronological and I edit it like that. But if I go and like start yapping and chatting away at things, I've never been good at like structure. Don't think I've written an essay in my life. Well, obviously I would have at school, but it wouldn't have been any good. And so when it comes to like discussing topics, in order for me to have it like organized and make sense to people, I have to do a lot of preparing, or like actually the network that I've signed with will probably be like, how does this girl's mind work? Because they're gonna have to do a lot of editing to get it in a structure that makes sense, I think. So yeah, I need to get on my computer and like type things out, and I'll have to have it there so that I make sense, because I just babble. Even when I'm on my medication, I just babble. All right, gotta pack away my makeup, get in there, and then I'm off. Gotta find my husband, I don't know where he is. I'm so nervous. Oh my God, okay. I'm getting ready to go. Oh, there's a shot down my top. You know, that's how I really got started on YouTube. I leant over to show you guys my eyeliner. Someone screenshot it and put it on 4chan, and the rest is history. Oops. Well, I guess that's it here. I'm gonna head. It's 8:05. I gotta go. Bye, guys. I hope you go and watch my podcast, okay? It's gonna be on Spotify. It's gonna be on wherever you get your podcasts. I'll also be doing stuff here on YouTube, also Instagram. I'm even on TikTok. I'm doing these on TikTok. No, I'm not doing TikTok dances. But I have in the past, if you scroll back far enough. Lockdown was a social experiment, wasn't it? So, okay, I am gonna go, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.